Most people think birds leave because of predators, but honestly, sometimes they leave because of you. Not because you scared them once, because your backyard started feeling wrong. And the strangest part is, you can keep filling the feeder every single day, and they still might decide your yard is no longer safe. There's usually one tiny mistake that triggers it. Most people never notice it happening. You probably wouldn't even notice the moment it starts. One week the feeder is crowded. Cardinals, sparrows, chickadees, noise everywhere. Then suddenly the visits become shorter. The birds stop landing as often. Some stay in the trees longer than usual, almost like they're watching first. And most people assume it's random. Weather, season changes, maybe a hawk nearby. But backyard birds are constantly scanning for patterns. And once something in your yard breaks their sense of predictability, the entire atmosphere changes. Even small things humans ignore can trigger it. A feeder moved a few feet. Too much direct movement near a window. A reflective surface flashing at the wrong time every afternoon. What's disturbing is that birds rarely panic immediately. First, they start hesitating. Here's the part most people never realize. Backyard birds are not just visiting your yard for food. They're studying stability. To a bird, a safe backyard is supposed to behave like a predictable ecosystem. Same sounds, same movement patterns, same safe escape routes. The moment those patterns start changing too often, something shifts in their behavior almost immediately. And it doesn't take much. People assume birds think in simple instincts, but many species build mental maps of human routines faster than humans notice theirs. They recognize which doors open often, which windows suddenly become active, which areas produce unexpected motion. Some even track the hours your yard feels safest. That's why one physical mistake can quietly poison the entire space without you realizing it. Sometimes it's a feeder placed too close to heavy movement. Sometimes it's outdoor furniture that suddenly changes the landing angles they trusted before. And weirdly enough, reflective objects can make things much worse. Birds interpret flashes, shifting reflections, and unpredictable movement as instability, even when there's no actual predator nearby. So while humans see decoration, birds see a territory that no longer behaves normally. And once hesitation begins, other birds start noticing too. That's the dangerous part, because birds constantly read each other's reactions. One cautious bird changes the confidence of the entire group. A few delayed landings become a silent warning signal spreading across the yard. Then slowly, the feeder that once felt alive starts feeling abandoned. Honestly, I think most people only notice the silence after the birds already made their decision. The unsettling part is that most people respond the wrong way once the birds start disappearing. They clean the feeder more often, add more food, buy a bigger setup. But to birds, that doesn't fix the real problem. Because the issue usually isn't hunger, it's trust. And once a backyard starts feeling unpredictable, birds become extremely cautious about returning the way they used to. I noticed this in my own yard a few years ago. The feeder was full. Nothing looked different to me. But the birds kept landing farther away first, almost like they were checking whether something had changed again. Then I realized I had started making one tiny mistake every single day without thinking about it. Around the same time the birds stopped lingering, I had moved a reflective metal planter near the feeding area. Every afternoon, sunlight bounced off it in random flashes across the yard. To me, it looked harmless. To them, it probably looked like instability that kept repeating at unpredictable hours. And once birds associate your yard with uncertainty, they don't just warn themselves, they influence each other. One nervous reaction spreads. One aborted landing becomes another bird's reason to stay in the trees. That's why some backyards slowly go quiet without the owner understanding why. The strange thing is, birds usually give you signs before they fully disappear. Shorter visits, more scanning, less feeding, longer pauses before landing. The problem is that most humans never recognize those behaviors as warnings. By the time the silence feels obvious, the birds have already adapted to avoiding you. And honestly, that's the part that still bothers me the most. Most people think backyard birds are simple creatures reacting only to food. But after watching them long enough, it starts feeling more personal than that. They remember tension. They remember patterns. And once a yard loses its sense of safety, rebuilding that trust can take a lot longer than people expect. So if birds have suddenly stopped visiting your feeder, don't just ask what disappeared from your yard. Ask what changed. Because sometimes the smallest human habit can quietly reshape an entire ecosystem without anybody noticing. And if you've noticed strange behavior in your own backyard lately, birds hesitating, watching longer, avoiding certain spots, leave a comment below. I'm curious how many people have seen the same pattern without realizing what caused it. And the next time your yard suddenly goes silent, pay attention to what the birds noticed before you did.